Okay. Well, I guess I need to read this thing for the meeting tonight, right?
You want me to do it?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Okay, well, call this meeting to order. Josh, you can read the procedure.
Yes, so I will read the spiel for our tonight's public hearing, and then I'll turn it back over to Marty. So I'm not the chairman, but I am planning director for the city of Prineville. The commission's job is to conduct public hearings for the purpose of making land use decisions and/or recommendations according to the ordinances and laws of the city of Prineville and state of Oregon. The commission may not vary from the adopted laws or ordinances. If a law or ordinance is considered to be unfair or unworkable, there is a process to amend the ordinance. All city land use ordinances must meet minimum standards for the enabling state statutes and administrative rules. All applications being heard tonight are being weighed against the law and ordinance in effect at the time of the application was filed. Copy of the procedure, tonight's agenda, and copies of staff report are available at the entrance, actually in the middle of the room tonight. All those in attendance are asked to sign the attendance sheet, and please include your address for the record. There is no one in attendance in the building. Briefly, each item will begin with the planning staff report and additional comments since staff report was written. All staff reports are available to the public 7 days prior to the hearing and are automatically incorporated into part of the record, as part of the record. After staff comments from any other state, city, state, county, or federal agencies will be presented, the applicant and those in support of the application will speak first, followed by those in opposition. For those who are neutral but have questions, they will come last. The applicant is given final rebuttal, at which time the public hearing may be closed following planning commission discussions and action. Testimony from all concerned shall address the applicable law or criteria. Failure to provide testimony at the hearing or address the issue of sufficient detail to afford the hearing's body and other parties an opportunity to respond will preclude the person from participating in an appeal to City Council or the Land Use Board of Appeals after that. The failure of the applicant to raise a constitutional or other issue related to the conditions of approval with sufficient detail to allow the hearing body to respond will preclude the applicant from pursuing action or damages associated with those conditions in circuit court. When testifying, please approach the front of the room, state your name and address. Present, if you're represented by someone else, please state who you are representing. At this time, does anybody on the commission have any ex parte conflict,
No. No.
No,
bias, or any other interest?
no.
No.
None noted. No conflicts, no ex parte contact. That's all we have. Marty, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, well, we'll move forward here then. And we have a public hearing on AM 2025-105 for a comprehensive plan change from Henry Industrial to outline commercial and zone change from light industrial M1 to general commercial C2. Staff?
That's correct. I'm gonna stand for this one. I do see the applicant is online now. They just left? Okay, well, I'll go through my spiel. They'll probably be back. This is a fairly simple application. I'll go through a little bit. The staff report kind of goes through most of it. There's a little bit of history to this property that kind of makes the application fairly simple. The proposal for the zone change, obviously, Marty just said it, light industrial to C2. So we're going from an M1 to a C2 in the zone. And the comprehensive plan is actually heavy industrial to outline commercial. There's a list of criteria from our land use code, the comprehensive plan, ORS and OARs. That kind of are part of doing zone changes. The staff report's relatively small because not a lot of the conditions and those things apply, but you have to list them anyway. DLCD notice went out on November 7th. We did not receive comments from the state, which is Department of Land Conservation and Development. Neighbor notice was mailed out on November 18th. We did not receive any neighbor issues or complaints or questions. And the newspaper notice went out on the December 2nd. Again, no comments were received from, in general, from the public. The only comments we received were actually from DSL, which is Department of State Lands. And that's they've been putting out kind of blanket comment statements about wetlands. You're next to a wetland, make sure you say something. So that's what that comment was about. This property is actually next to the creek, so it was kind of opportune for them to say that. So they puts them on notice that yes, you do have a water body next to you that you have to pay attention to, and there's the floodplain that you can see on this side. So a little history to this parcel. That building is what we all know as Grocery Bandit. Some of you may remember it used to be a furniture store. That's what it was originally built for. Furniture store is one of the few retail items because of the bulk of it that we allow in our light industrial zones. So they built that furniture store on the light industrial property. Previous owner, not the previous owner, basically said, we're selling, we got a grocery store that wants to buy it. Can we change the zone? So in 2016, we actually accommodated this body. We changed the zone of that property so it could be a grocery store. They paid their SDCs, they built the thing. They also at the same time bought the neighboring lot. And they actually use that lot just a little bit to store some stuff, and part of their parking lot is on it. And so now that that owner is sold, the new owner of Grocery Bandit owns both lots. They don't want to do the warehousing and such that the previous owner wanted to do. They want to continue the retail and expand the retail. So they need to change the zone. This used to all be one property. Matter of fact, this whole side used to all be one property. The intent of the owner is to get this rezoned and then combine these lots back together the way they were prior to 2006. So this is what it looks like now. You have your commercial zoning on this where the store is now. You have your heavy industrial comp plan designation on this side. It's kind of interesting that this is all actually designated for heavy, but it's zoned light. It's just how it's always been. One of these days we might, because of the proximity to this residential here and here, this might be a candidate to swap that comp plan to a light, just so it doesn't ever go heavy. This is what it would look like after this. And honestly, if the owners of these two parcels wanted to switch to commercial, that might actually make some sense too, just because it would buffer that side. This is a storage facility, so it doesn't really matter too much. And this is the old Flagel building. Used to be an RV repair. I don't actually know what they're doing there anymore. Could be a large industrial thing, but I think it might make sense if they all did it. I kind of expected them to ask. They did not. They didn't even comment at all. And then this is what the zone map would change to. So you can see that light industrial. And then this would just create the outline commercial zone, that C2 zone, and then those two lots would then be combined together so they can develop something in the future.
What's the white?
Is it county? That's just outside city limits. So in the county,
That has a
yeah,
set there.
it's just the way they haven't annexed yet. So these two parcels here would become commercial. I think the commercial zoning kind of stops like right here in the county, and all this is residential. It's like SRM1, something like that.
So the two churches are in residential?
Yeah.
Are they really?
Most churches are residential. They're a conditional use pretty much everywhere, except for like the Lutheran church is downtown. So anyway, that's what it'll do. It'll expand that commercial node, allow the grocery store to continue to operate. Now that we have this residential here, Western Sky is down below, and you got the apartments being built here. Having a small grocery store that people can run down to. There's a walkable path. It doesn't make there's no reason not to do it. I guess I couldn't come up with a reason to deny it. So here we are. So in conclusion, you're basically going to rezone about 2 acres. About 1.3 of it's actually usable outside the floodway. You'll rezone it from light industrial to commercial, C2. You'll amend the comp plan from a heavy to a outline commercial, and that will allow the grocery store to expand. Again, retail use is not allowed in the M1 zone. That's why the C2 is needed. Proximity to residential, as we discussed, supports the change. The loss of industrial use is really minimal, if non-existent, since they're already using this property as part of the grocery store. The entire property lies within the floodplain, so having that larger lot will help it redevelop. And then this is the one unique thing about it. So when you do a zone change, especially when you're going from, you're not just going from the industrial to industrial, but an actual complete switch to, say, industrial to commercial, you have to do a trip analysis. So they have a traffic study. They did it. They said, hey, if we do this, are there any improvements that are going to be needed to that highway Gardner Road area? And what their traffic consultant basically said was, probably not. But if you go over this many trips, theoretically, it would be higher than what could be allowed in the M1 zone. So this will be in what is recommended in the staff report and will be in the recommendation for the planning commission, if you guys approve, is to keep this as a trip cap. So when they come in to apply for an expansion of that grocery store or whatever it might be, they'll do another traffic memo or analysis and say this building is going to generate 50 trips, PM peak, or they just can't go over 78, which is it's an enormous amount of trips. 78 PM peak hour trips means 78 people are coming and going from that store in 1 hour from 4 to 6. That's a lot of trips coming in and out. So not likely to happen. But we'll put it in there because what it does is it helps satisfy the TPR, which is a transportation planning rule at the state level. When you do a zone change and they can say, oh, they have a trip cap, it doesn't change anything. So that's why that's there. And now, we'll do the applicant first. Is he on? He's not. I wonder where Jordan went. Texted me. Oh, he said there was somebody else attending.
Hi.
Oh, they are somebody else there. Okay. Sorry. I didn't notice anybody was on. Do you see him now? Okay. Marty, I'm turning it back over to you. Does Planning Commission have any questions right now? Otherwise, we can turn it over to the applicant.
Okay, the applicant there's nobody here right now. Is that?
They're online.
They're online. Okay, applicant, go ahead.
This is Heidi. I'm the owner of the property. I was thinking that Jordan and other people I didn't know if you had any other questions or what I need to address on it. I was just on here to listen and see what's going on.
Yeah, Heidi, this is Josh, the planning director here. Jordan texted me that he thought you guys were joining. You guys, it doesn't really matter. If you have
Okay.
anything to add to what I just presented, otherwise being here for questions is all you need to do.
Okay, perfect.
Any questions of the applicant?
No.
No, none, okay.
There is no public, no one online, and no one in the audience.
No one here to speak in favor, no one to speak in opposition, no one to speak with whatever. So,
Just to sum it up again, our recommendation is on the screen, in favor, recommending it to city council for approval. And what that will do is you guys aren't approving it, you're basically recommending it. The council will then either acknowledge that approval or recommendation and hear it or not. Typically, they don't hear it, they uphold your decision, and then we just go straight to ordinance, which will happen in January.
anyone else have any questions of staff or?
No.
No? No more questions? Okay, well then,
It seems very straightforward.
yeah. Well, I'm open for a motion then.
I move that the staff report and record of tonight's proceedings are hereby incorporated as findings of fact in favor of this application. I move the application be recommended to City Council for approval, subject to the conditions of approval as they have been finalized.
Have a motion in favor?
Second.
We got a second? Everybody ready to vote?
Yes.
For?
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
for it.
Yes.
Yep. Guess I'm the only-
Yes.
Only one to vote. Yeah.
Favor say aye.
Anyone in opposition? None noted, so
There we go.
everybody's for it.
So Heidi, for your information, what that does, basically the planning commission's recommendation will go to city council at probably their first meeting in January. Typically, they do not hear these and they will simply go straight to ordinance, and that will be that. There will not be another public hearing.
Perfect.
If there
Okay,
is, we'll
thank
let
you very
know,
much.
but otherwise, we'll get it to you when it's finished.
Okay, perfect. I appreciate it. So is there another meeting in January to be?
You don't need to be at one, no. What I do is I go to city council and I ask them if they want to hear it. So our code allows them to just say no and uphold the planning commission's decision. And then I just bring an ordinance back to them. There's no public hearing for it.
Perfect.
Now, if
Okay,
there is a public
thank you
hearing,
so
you
much.
will know about it, but I doubt they will do that.
Perfect. All right,
Okay.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, planning commission matters. Anything the commission would like to discuss?
I have a question, and maybe I just read it wrong. The information you posted, Tasha, about apartment changes or changes that were going to be made to multiple, I've forgotten how it was worded.
Probably the manor.
Yeah. Yeah. Where was that again? I looked for it and I couldn't find couldn't figure out where it was.
Northwest here.
Okay, I thought it said northeast first. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense at all. Because northeast first, 601 northeast, east first is the school. So that didn't make any sense to me.
Can we show you?
Yeah, please.
Okay,
So it's actually west first, not east first. And I probably just read it.
west first. Not on first at all.
Not on first.
What was the question? The manor, you're talking about the manor?
Oh, I don't know if I'm not at the manor or not.
What did you see?
It was the email. It was on our email. It
Okay.
was information that Tasha posted about changes that were going to be made to
Yeah, that would be the manor.
which is,
It's a multifamily building. It's been there since the 70s
okay,
on Deer Street.
okay. I thought the address said 601 East First, and I was like,
It's 601, but it's Deer Street.
okay, maybe I just read it wrong.
I don't know.
I don't even,
Maybe you didn't. Maybe we did. Maybe we wrote it wrong.
I just don't know.
So it's this one. It's 601 Deer. What the manor's doing is there's still 28 units. They're basically renovating the place.
Okay,
They're adding some balconies and such. They're going to add a front entryway, and they're going to expand their like community room. It's really small. The only reason we actually reviewed it in any level, because it's pretty menial, was because of the floodplain.
right. Yeah, and so, okay, I know where that is. It's
Yeah.
just that the address that I read didn't make any sense.
So the floodplain, what I had them do is actually go out and survey the ground and actually show us where, because these maps these are macro scale maps,
Mhm.
not micro. So they actually went out here and they resurveyed. This line is actually over here more, and this line is actually down here more. So what they're building, what they're adding is not within the floodplain. And so we moved a few buildings out. They had a shed they were going to replace. They've moved it out, and a few things with the site plan. They're adding some parking in the back and in general cleaning the place up.
Okay.
So that's what that's about.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No, no other questions? Okay. Move on then to director's report.
Okay, I just wanted to go over a few things, especially since Marty asked me before the meeting, kind of where are so the projects that have happened in the past and what stage they at. So if you drive around town, you'll see that the Madras Highway apartments have gone vertical. So 4 buildings are actually out of building permit stage and going. They have 4 more that I expect relatively soon to come out of the building stage. The apartments at there, you can't see them here. Yeah, you can. These apartments are further along, much further along. But they'll probably be, I would say, renting sometime late spring if they get their paving done and all that stuff in the spring when the batch plants open. So that'll be coming along. These are nearly done. This is that Laughlin kind of condos.
Right.
Couple of hiccups on that one, but it got finished. And that's moving forward. The rooted homes discussion we've had, they did not apply yet. There's supposed to be another multifamily going on here. We did the infrastructure, but they haven't come back. This subdivision you will probably see early January, February. This will be the last subdivision that is actually part of the Iron Horse, that has to be part of the Iron Horse HOA. The rest of this, although it could be, is not required to be. That was part of the sale when they sold this stuff off. We are working on some, looking at plans and how this would work in here, but nothing's imminent. A lot of these projects are kind of conceptual at this point. So this is a concept we're looking at. Smith Landing is trying to come up with a way to develop and try to get Peters Road through there. These guys are actually wanting to change from industrial to residential up here on the top.
Who
And
owns that?
This is, well, Rodents own this here,
Uh-huh.
and the Porphylies own this. And in our comp plan, it has always stated that, and then the Crawfords here, that this should be something other than industrial. Always, since 2007. This has already changed to residential. I can turn my zoning on here. Dink. And this is heavy right now. And then this is heavy or light industrial in the county. And so the idea would be to change these, including Crawfords, to either residential or some mix of residential and commercial, however they want to split that up. I know the Porphylies want to do commercial kind of down in here, kind of a buffer to the industrial. Not sure what to do with Butcher Boys. I kind of feel like they should be included since they're up top as well. But they are a heavy use, so it would kind of be this weird thing at first. And then this would all go housing. That is starting to materialize.
What's happening with the Peters Road extension out there?
And that would be part of this. So we've gotten all these landowners together and we're starting to agree on an alignment. The hiccup is who builds it. So these guys on this side, it makes sense that they build the road because it's going to be their main connection into and through. The real issue is this lower piece where we're trying to figure out, they don't want to bring the road straight across because it takes out the most developable part of the property. And they have this place down below that really isn't conducive. So what we're trying to come up with the design is, we've actually designed it before, is to bring it down, bring it back up, and then connect it. That would at least create a road that doesn't have any homes backing onto it. It'll be completely unfettered. It's a little bit of a roundabout way to go, but it's completely, there's no stops, there's no traffic, there's no, all the residential traffic will go. It would connect to Gardner at La Monta. So this is La Monta Road, and that's the idea. And then, so this would come up like that. And that's kind of, this section is what we're having trouble figuring out who to build. Obviously they would build this one because that makes the most sense for them. But for these guys, they just want to do their neighborhood above. And then this gets built later. But if that's the case, then someone's going to use that residential street in the meantime. So we're trying to figure that stuff out. So that's something that may come later in the year. once we kind of figure out how that gets worked out. They can't do anything on this end until we change the zone. So we're still waiting on all that. These guys are ready to go now. So we're trying to figure out how to make that work. So that's,
So the heavy industrial is in the city limits?
yes. So all the color is city.
Okay.
And here, I'll turn on the county. This is also industrial. Let me turn my EGB off. Light. Yeah. But if you look at our comp plan, it identifies these, and even our new economic opportunities analysis that we're doing also identified these to change. Not getting really any pushback for that, but I think they all need to do it or none. You can't have one or the other. They all have to agree to do it. So that's kind of some things that are occurring behind the scenes, taking up a lot of time.
No way to get straight through from Lamona to the highway?
Well, Lamana to the highway, Gardner Road is our connection.
Oh.
Other than if you come out and you have like Bus Evans. Actually, no, Bus Evans doesn't hit. It has to go all the way up here.
Yeah. Too far out.
Yeah, maybe one of these days we'll bring that in, but yeah, Gardner Road is our main connector between the two. The creek is kind of the problem, really, until you get out here.
And that just perhaps increases traffic for grocery bandit.
Well, again, that's the whole thing. So the whole idea, and of course, no one wants to build it. The reason we need to do Peters Road connection, the reason it needs to be a major collector, is if you remember when we went through our TSP says we have too much traffic on 3rd Street.
Right.
We don't have the ability like Redmond and Madras and Sisters to bypass our town or Bend. We need alternate routes. So 2nd Street, 9th Street, Peters, and Combs Flat. Those are our alternate routes that we need to do to relieve, kind of spread the traffic around. So that's why we couldn't just cave and say, just bring it through the residential street and have the homes back out onto it. It'd be a mess, because the street's going to be there for 100 and 200 years. I mean, it's going to be a trunk line for a lot of people in the future. So we can't just half-ass it now. So
Why
That's-
can't they just go on their north boundary there, right?
well, so what happens is when you're laying out a subdivision on this lot, you basically lose an entire row of homes because the width of a major collector is 80 feet and a normal street is 60. So if you try to do like a 60 and then do alley access, well, it's still 80. You lose room and you lose a row of homes. You lose a row of homes, you can't pay for your infrastructure.
Yeah, it makes it
It's-
feasible.
It's just we're constantly going back and forth on that. If we can figure out we've actually designed this once before down below. If we can make that pencil, we just need to figure out if that's going to work. It'll work. I mean, driving wise, it'll work just fine. It won't be much different. It's not that much longer. Plus, it actually ends up helping serve Crawford's. Because then if this road's coming down here, this is actually flatter. And you might be able to actually take a stub off and create circulation within that area. Because this right here is pretty steep. So
Seth Crawford.
yeah. So we're working on things like that. So those things will come before you, but hopefully a lot of that will be worked out before it lands into your plate, and you'll just be looking at the subdivision itself. And whether they're doing a master plan, whether they do mixed use or what kind of zoning they want, I don't know yet. So that's what's kind of happened down in the valley. We got a couple of small projects, a little vet clinic going on 2nd Street that's finishing up. A lot of people have asked about the 2nd Street Tap House. This is now paved. They're slowly working on it.
They are slow.
They came to basically I think it probably got too expensive for them. They're gonna finish it. It's just they're gonna wait and kind of do it slowly. They're getting the building wintered in, but they paved the area over here. The sidewalks are in. This is in, and it's moving forward. On another similar situation, the Roosters should be open. They got finalized, so this convenience store, gas station, and brew pub thing. Should be done. We've finalized it.
It's not open yet.
They can open whenever they want, whenever they're ready. So that's done. The data center here is getting finished. They're, going as fast as they can. Humane Society's done.
Who is it?
This data center?
Yeah.
It's just called Oppenden. I think they just lease it. They own it, but they lease the space. Kind of a data
It's a
center,
spec-
not a specific
Spec
user.
building, basically.
Well, they built it for somebody. Otherwise, they didn't just build it to hope. So someone is leasing that.
I just saw a couple of days ago that one of the big tech companies closed out one of their big buildings down south.
Hmm.
And they hadn't decided where they were gonna move yet. So I was wondering, whoa, what happens if it hits us? Well, the reason that it got closed out was that the city rejected it.
That's funny. So they got it all built and then they didn't open it?
Well, actually, they didn't get it built.
Okay.
But the city rejected their application to build it. So they're looking for a new place to go now, and I was thinking, whoa, what if it hits us?
It could. I don't know where, but it could. It depends on the size. This is a little one. It's like 60,000 square feet. So
This,
it's not a huge one.
this was pretty big one.
Yeah, the hyperscale
I can't
ones.
remember what company it was.
We'll find out. So that one's getting moving. CVI is going vertical. That's that new manufacturing company. So all those things are kind of happening, and we're slowly working on kind of where this industrial area goes from here, likely somewhere west of the airport. So since our whole southern side got boxed in with solar, we're kind of boxed in up there.
Any consideration about it, expanding the runways to take planes if something happened to Redmond?
Edmund's growing.
Redmond's adding, they're going full terminal.
Yeah.
No, I would say no, but I think next year they're going to do another master plan. Our runway has always called to lengthen the runway on this end here, but we actually have to move Houston Lake Road to do it. It's not in the right spot. I don't know that we'll ever have the need for that type of passenger size. We do the small kind of regional private jet type stuff, but I think the regional airport is where we're going to stay. And then we've been receiving a lot of the private planes and the hangars and that kind of business where Redmond just doesn't do that anymore. And Bend is full up. So a lot of it's coming over here. The county's just built or is building a hangar right here that the county will own and lease to help revenue on the airport. All these other hangars that you see out here are privately owned and they just lease the ground. So they're starting to get in a little bit of that game. But the master plan for the airport, we're going to do it again. It's probably going to be roughly the same. Calls for, development on both sides of the runway. What we'd like to do in this area over here is this is probably the natural place anymore to expand our urban growth boundary for another industrial area. And I'd like to see these two kind of corners be transferred. So if you look at this is county. Like shave this corner off and flip it for this corner, square off the airport so we have a better development on the airport, give that to other people so they can develop industrial outside the airport. And so we're working slowly on things like that. Same thing was supposed to happen over here. So this is left vacant right now in case the airport ever takes that chunk. We'll see where that ends up. But those are the primary developments happening right now. A lot of our infrastructure projects we finished this year. I think the largest one we have next year that I know of is South Main paving, drainage issues and things like that. So hopefully we have a quieter infrastructure year next year because this year we had everything torn up.
but I appreciated it.
Yeah, we got a lot done. So
Heck of a lot better than what Ben and Ridden are, Madras.
it was Third Street tore up, Combs Flat tore up, Main Street tore up.
The house on Deer, that property on Deer and what, Fifth, that where the floodplain, where the
Yep,
built the catchment,
right here.
what are they gonna do with that house?
We own it. I really would rather just see the property remain as is, primarily because of that floodplain. And here's the floodway. We were going to drill a well out here, so we had the drainage, and we were going to actually put a well right here. And then, and if we did that, it would be within the 100 feet, and the house would probably just go away. That's kind of back burner now. So then there was a thought of, well, does Housing Works want to use it as one of their tutor homes where they kind of do some, it's not really, it's like transitional housing where you're kind of moving up. It's kind of the last stage before you buy your own house.
Right.
We talked to them about doing that, but it needs a lot of work.
I was gonna say, cause it's just been sitting empty
Yeah.
for
It's
forever.
it's the bones are okay. No one knows. It did flood once in '98. It did flood. I don't know what it looks like underneath. I actually got the photo from a videotape that we found in the archive that shows that house flooded. So, if we own property in the floodplain, I think we should just keep it and make it a park. Just, something like that.
Yeah,
That's what I'd rather do with it, but you never know. We could carve it off and sell it as a home if somebody wanted to, but that would not be my first choice. So,
Good. Anything else?
I don't have anything else.
No? No.
nope. If you see anything going on, you can always let me know.
Yeah, next meeting is January 20th.
Our next meeting, that should be the next one, the third Tuesday of January, which is right after President's Weekend, I think. Right now, I don't have anything other than kind of our normal select officers, that kind of stuff. First meeting of the year, which is good, which is why I kind of wanted to get this one in now. They can go through, be done, and then we can do our standard January meeting where we.
What have we got coming up on the officers?
Well, you have to elect president.
I know.
Yeah,
That's all.
that's what we'll do on that meeting unless something comes in after Christmas, which theoretically we might be doing that subdivision south of Martinsview Elementary if they turn it in before then. I could probably schedule that one, but since it's
Nobody's
pretty
terms
basic.
Expired or anything.
Those have been renewed. So yes, I think it was, gosh, man, I don't remember, but those council did renew the terms for those individuals at the last
They didn't
council
kick
meeting.
Any of us off.
Nope, they didn't kick you. We had a long discussion about it. We decided to keep you. But,
Yeah.
so that is okay.
Okay. Anything else? Well,
Go to the order. I
ready to close?
think we're good.
Done. Good.
Okay, meeting's closed.